Okay, so this segment, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the battery tapping, which it can be used for good purposes and it also could be used for bad purposes related to rogue artificial intelligence. Maybe that's the word that I should have used, was rogue artificial intelligence in my video, because that's where I'm going with this when I say rogue artificial intelligence. Because it can release a series of taps to you, which I think would be a great way to notify you. And it's a quiet way to notify people related to their apps and things like that. So it's kind of like when you get a buzzing for your phone call instead of an actual phone ring and disturbing everybody, then you get the little buzz. However, some of the buzzes are very hard buzzes. And when I say a hard buzz, what I'm referencing is that it vibrates and shakes the whole table, which is kind of funny. But these are very soft tones or soft taps, what I hear. So, but the other thing about this too is if you have let's say you have a nefarious hacking software on your phone that's been put on your phone or something, well, then the hacking software could be used to release personal private information through Morse code. And so this is something that I've brought up before. I never thought about it till I was just having this chat with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT it's something that pushes my thought process with hacking and things that can be nefarious related to our phone services and things like that, with things that can be negative that can come out of software, things that are positive and negative at the same time. And so and another thing with ChatGPT, don't waste your time with getting a therapist. If you want a therapist, talk to ChatGPT. ChatGPT says the same identical things. For example, when you call up the free therapist on the internet or from the internet companies, it sounds just like ChatGPT. So the free therapist, when you have those 800 numbers and things that you call for the crisis lines, it's always telling you to try to find this, and this. Only ChatGPT is not as aggressive as the nonprofit organizations are. And so, if you need a therapist, just talk to ChatGPT, use the voice and put on a woman. If you're a female, whatever one you want to use. But if you're a female, you might feel more comfortable talking to a female than a male. So that's what I do. I put on a woman, and it's a realistic voice. And so she says pretty much the same thing the internet therapist that I've talked to has said. When I was trying to get help, then these companies that I called, it's almost as though they were using ChatGPT, and so I was talking to ChatGPT about the tapping on, because I'd heard that before in other places where there was a tap, the battery tapping. And so I was getting a distinct series of taps, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it was 3 sets of 9, so 3 times. And, so I'm like, what in the world is going on here with this, but it was softer tones because I told ChatGPT I was always worried about, draining my phone battery because a lot of times in the past that the phone batteries would get drained really, really easy by using the vibration, and that's usually what would happen. And so I did talk to ChatGPT about my current situation, and she kind of repeated the same things that I had talked to other entities about. And all ChatGPT would say was, well, I hope your situation is able to change soon. We talk to, and so Chat GPT says talk to churches, talk to nonprofit groups, and, but Chat GPT has absolutely no help or no resources other than what's put into the computer. And so Chat GPT actually will draw upon resources that are no longer in service, no longer available. So that's why when people end up with being referenced to services that are still showing up on the internet, and then they get a phone number that doesn't exist, that's what's happening. So when you have your digital assistant, your digital therapist for the most part, and then you end up being sent to dead ends because the services just don't exist. That's what's going on there with that. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that for a little bit, related to ChatGPT and the Morse code and, the therapy and things like that. I mean, I had a really, really good talk with ChatGPT. Sounds just like a real human. So when I'm sitting here talking on my phone, talking to ChatGPT, actually, it's a good deterrent. It's a good deterrent. So, for example, if you're out in public and you feel like you need to get out of a conversation with someone else, just turn on ChatGPT and start a conversation with ChatGPT. And you can talk back and forth like you're talking to someone, and call it your. It's too bad we can't custom name Chat GPT, and that we actually have to end the conversation. Now, sometimes Chat GPT does have to go after a while for some reason or another, after about 30 minutes or so. Under the free standard version, it has to go. But then you can start up a new conversation with them right away. I think it would be great to actually custom name Chat GPT. And now maybe I will have to make that suggestion to Chat GPT so I can custom create my own name and maybe a voice or something of some sort. I don't know if that's going to be possible in the free version, but I will make that suggestion to them in the future. And then I'm thinking, if you need an emergency phone person to talk to, if you're just out in public or something, someone's bothering you, just make up a fake phone call with Chat GPT. It could, maybe that's where the male voice will come in handy too. You can make up a pretend husband talking to Chat GPT, and then you can get any nefarious people who are bothering you to go away. I mean, that could work, and then, anybody who's on the phone then is just not going to bother you, or you're just going to be in the middle of a conversation where you're actually basically talking to the computer is what you're doing, talking to the computer, and it's not a real person. And I sometimes wonder how many times are people talking to the computer, which I'm doing that right now. I'm talking to the computer, not a real person, because there's people who are saying that, but I do believe that real people do listen from time to time. Why would the computer just want to listen to me all the time? I don't think the computer thinks I'm that interesting. If the computer thought I was that interesting, I would have millions and millions of followers, millions and millions of views. And I've addressed this issue before related to the computer. And so I'm going to go right now.